you can't find it or what?
All right, fine.
Okay.
We don't really, we're really like.
What, I think it's fine.
Okay.
Some little fairy at the house once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoy Brady's too, especially their acting approach, and that kind of replaced JB in my mind. And then their smoke sandwich, brisket sandwich.
Oh.
Yeah.
On the flatbreads at the train station, those are pretty good.
Oh, yeah. It's all good.
I know, John's always like, where do you want to eat? I don't care. I said, and then, like, well, what sounds good? And I said, it doesn't matter, I can always find something on the menu.
Sandwich last night.
Yeah, we do that sometimes too.
And I had Jimmy John's, Carol had pizzas. And then I noticed that she says,
Yeah. John will get a chicken dinner and I'll get a mini pizza. So good.
sit in the truck.
We're pretty classy.
Great ambiance.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is 4:30. I'd like to ask that you please join me for a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could I have a roll call, please?
Brad Head.
Here.
Ken Snyder.
Here.
Keith Hamel.
Here.
Chantel Ostrov. Here. Tom Akers.
Here.
Our next item up is approve the agenda. I'll take a motion for that.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Snyder.
Aye.
Ostrov. Aye. Eggers.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Kent.
Aye.
All right, the next, moving into the public forums portion of our meeting. Is there anyone here wishing to address the council at this time? You can do it now, or you can do it when we get to yours at the end, either one. If you want to, if it's regarding that item on the agenda, if you want to wait till that'd be fine. Okay, let's do that. Anyone else? You're also on later, so. Any written comments?
None.
Okay. Then let's move on to approve the consent agenda.
Make the motion to approve.
Support.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Eggers.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Kent.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Ostrov. Aye.
All right, moving into the new business, our first item there is the amendment to the tobacco license for Highway Liquor and Smoke Shop. So now is your chance, if you would, step to the mic and give us your name for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Houston Coleman, partial owner of Highway Liquor and Smoke Shop. I'm here today to kind of just discuss about the new amendment to the tobacco license for the device application. It's part of a new law that Iowa submitted in, and they're trying to collect a 40% tax on glass and metal products. It's not really anything new. They're just wanting to collect a tax on it, and they made some stipulations as well. They want to keep all glass products kind of blacked out, which we've taken effect in doing, getting our windows covered with blackout stuff by the local graphic people here in town. But we wanted to get it done back before January 1st, but it was too cold to put the seal up on the windows. So we had to wait for the first warm weather, which was, I think, about a month ago we got it up. And then it's still not blackout enough to our liking, so we're getting some full blackout material to go behind the windows as well if we do get approved for the device license. And we're just not really doing anything new. We're doing what we've been doing for the last year in town, and we're up and honest about everything we do. We don't hide anything. The products that we sell are not intended for any drug use or anything like that. They're tobacco and flavored hookah pipes. And if somebody states that they're going to try to use it for anything like that, we ask them to exit the building immediately. So that's the way we do it. I know that there is some bad characters in the smoke shop industry, but we are not one of them. And I just wanted to take the time to kind of point that out and let you guys know.
All right, thank you, Houston. Are there any questions for Houston while he's here?
I have a question.
Yes.
So these devices that are under this law,
Yep.
were you selling those prior to January 1?
Yeah, we were.
Okay.
Yep.
And have you been selling them up to today?
Yes, we have.
Okay, thank you.
But I wouldn't say, they're not like a really top-selling product, so like, we were advised by the state that the county would get the application, and then when the application goes through, if we get denied or approved, then we would have to pull the products or start collecting the tax on it that way. So we're just kind of trying to wait and figure out what the next steps are from the state, and kind of from my understanding from talking to people at the state level, nobody really knows what's even going on.
Right. So my last question is were you aware that the law went into effect on January 1 of
Yep,
2025?
January 1st, yep.
Okay.
Yep, and then we applied for the license December 26th and December 31st.
Okay.
And they took the $1,500 out of our account for the application fee.
So when do you anticipate having that blackout on the windows? Because I drove out there this afternoon and you can visibly see them through the windows.
Through the side with like the car graphics and stuff?
You can see right into the windows and you can see them on your shelves.
On the glass case in the front?
Yep.
I know that the graphic people in town, they're trying to get the product up. We just got the other ones put up about a month ago, so we're just waiting on when they get the vinyl and they're ready to go to hang it up here.
Because I see that is one of the stipulations in the code, is that they can't be visibly seen by anybody under the age of 21.
Yep, and that's
And
why.
if they're currently in your window and you can see them from the parking lot, that's some of the concerns I have with it.
Yeah, that's why we put that one up originally, but it wasn't blackout enough to our liking, so we wanted to get a separate one to put up on the backside. So we're just waiting for the local vinyl company to get it done. If they can't get to it in a timely manner, we'll have one of our Sioux Falls companies that we work with come down here to do it.
So then,
ASAP.
do you know that you're kind of in violation of the code then?
Well,
That they're visible from this parking lot?
from what we were told, the cover that we put up, technically, when the light shines in, it's supposed to block it. So we did take the necessary steps to cover it.
I was just saying, I was out there this afternoon and I could visibly look through and see it.
Okay.
And above the screens, you can see it also.
The top window?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And do you ensure that no one of the age of under 21 comes into the store?
Yes, we do. We have it on our door, and we tell anybody that tries to come in that they have to leave if they have anyone under 21 years of age.
Okay.
I have a question if I can.
Yes, please.
So-
Use your mic.
So can the devices that you sell be used for meth and illicit drugs?
I wouldn't say that they could be used, but people might try to use them, but they're not intended for that purpose at all, for meth or anything like that.
So what is their intended purpose?
Tobacco and flavored tobacco hookahs. Like the ones that are up on the top of the window, those are designed for shisha hookah, which is a flavored tobacco that you put on top of charcoals, and it burns like, have you ever heard of like a hookah lounge? That's the type of tobacco that goes in those big ones above the window there. I guess that kind of one just overshot my eye that they were sitting above there, and we had to get those windows.
You can get them on Amazon.
We'll probably just take those down instead of covering the windows if we are approved there too. We'll just get those off that top portion there.
So can those products be smoked through a regular pipe, a tobacco pipe?
Like the legal substances?
Just age-old tobacco pipe
Um,
made out of wood or?
Yeah,
Corn cob pipe?
I would say that they're as capable of smoking out of a wood product, which this bill wouldn't stop us from selling if we get denied to. They'd be just as likely to smoke out of a wood product or a clay product, which this device does not stop us from selling if we get denied as well.
Okay.
If I could ask a follow-up, please. So, Houston, will the cover that you're putting on have logos and signage on it? Because if so, I'd like you to talk to Todd Ewell tomorrow, so you and him and Steve, our
Okay.
code guy, can look to see or take a look at our sign code just to make sure it's in
For sure.
compliance, because I don't have it in front of me, so that needs a little bit of review.
For sure. Yeah, I know we don't plan on doing anything different than what we have. We're just gonna put 100% blackout. So like the graphics that are on the windows now are still gonna be there, but the backside of the windows are gonna be fully blacked out, so you can't see through the window. It's pretty much just gonna be 100% black tint.
Yeah, if you could just consult with him and just
Yep.
make sure the existing is compliant with the
Okay.
sign code.
For sure.
So, one more thing.
Yep.
So you have several options. You can approve it today, you could deny it today, you could, knowing that our city attorney isn't here, you could continue this to the next meeting, so.
There's some things incomplete that I read, that the form is not complete yet.
Yeah.
How can we approve it if it's not complete? Number
Right.
one, and number two, I'd like to say, I don't think it should be displayed until the windows are totally darkened. I don't think it should be seen at all until that part's done.
Yep.
But my question is, can we really approve it until the application, those incomplete areas are
The continuation is reasonable. I spoke to Tim this afternoon, I pointed out what our city attorney had said to me is that the application wasn't complete. What's linked is not complete. The top is blank. You mentioned that's what you were right.
Like what the top is supposed to
If
be.
you could step up here, Tim.
Filled out like we're supposed to with the ownership and everything. I think that top piece, I haven't seen the form because we just sent them our money over line, Haven't seen the form, but I think that top piece was supposed to be for them to fill out, not us, because we filled out if you look at the application, the bottom's filled out with the ownership, and that's what they're asking for on the top piece. So I don't understand that part.
Yeah, if you could just state your name for the record.
Timothy Patrick Coleman. So that's what I don't, it's not clear enough, I don't know, we didn't fill out an application like that, we done it online, and it didn't have any paper form to it, and we filled out everything that was on that form, and we didn't know anything about the top part.
Okay.
Just to add to that detail, like when we filled out the form, like if you look down where it says corporate officers, that's also legal ownership, and I think the prompt windows, we're supposed to put that up on the top, but it didn't give us an option for that. It was just like, you fill in your information, it shoots you to the next page, you fill that in, you shoot it to the next page, and then it sent it to the county. So where it says like legal ownership, where that's blank, that should be the corporate officers. We're supposed to go to that part as well. And then for the LLC is just Highway Liquor and Smoke Shop LLC as well. So I'm not sure why that didn't get transferred over there too. I planned on calling the city because Sam called us and told us about that this afternoon too. So I planned on calling the state to see why that wasn't on the top of the application as well.
Go ahead, Tom.
No, go ahead.
I would say, given that our city attorney is not with us today, and the fact that there's some issues with the paperwork, I would recommend that we put this on, push this back to our next regular council meeting. And I'll take a motion to that effect. If
I will make the motion
Okay.
until it's complete and we have all the answers.
Okay.
I would also say that everything needs to be in compliance because it's not currently, so.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a support for that motion from Ken, based on what I said, basically? I need a
I will support it as adding everything
Okay.
needs to be
Okay,
in
if you're
compliance.
fine with that?
Yes.
If we can't, it might be April 2 and it might be April 16, depending on Micah's review.
Yeah, as early as possible.
Yep.
Okay, you got that all? All right. Any further discussion? Yes, Tom. Tim, excuse me.
We will make sure that even if I have to go buy some curtain material, we'll have that covered for you by tomorrow night.
All right.
It'll all be compliant. We thought it was compliant, but when we seen the light shine through at night, we knew we had to do something else. So we ordered the material, but if they can't get it to it by tomorrow, I'll go up to Sioux Falls and buy some material and put behind there so you can't see through there.
One more thing though, if I could. Just so that there isn't misunderstanding in a few weeks when this comes back, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think there's two elements of compliance. One was the covering, but the recovering is somewhat irrelevant if the items really aren't supposed to be sold until they're properly licensed. They really should be put in the back room.
Correct.
And I believe that that's what her intent is with that statement. Am I correct?
Yeah, well, both.
Right.
A and B.
So let me expound on that a little bit. And it's a technicality, but since the law went into effect on January 1, and you haven't received your license, and if you've sold since January 1, then you have already violated the law.
Well, really, if you call the state, there is no laws or regulations right now. It's just a bill that hasn't been enforced on anything. They don't even have an answer for us what we're supposed to do, the state of Iowa. So how can we violate something that don't have any rules or regulations?
A fair question, and I think that's one that we need to address.
I mean, we would already have it off if they hadn't told us to pull it. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. My comments to the motion is that I think we need the city attorney to determine the position and find out legally where we're at on that
Right.
stipulation.
I agree. But I'll have my guy start pulling it in the morning, and we'll just set it in the back room for now until we decide what's going on. We'll just pull all those cases out, everything that's glass or metal. But wood is not in this step station, so we can leave all of our wood and clay products out there, not in this
Right.
law, so.
Fair enough.
Is that fair enough, guys?
Yep.
Thanks a lot for your time, I appreciate it, and we thank you for the opportunity to have a business here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for showing. Yeah.
So we have a motion, we have support. Any other comments from the council? Any questions? Roll call, please.
Eggers?
Aye.
Ostra?
Aye.
Snyder?
Aye.
Hamel?
Aye.
Kent?
Aye.
All right, then we'll move on into our report section. We have with us EMA representatives today. The floor is yours.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Jared.
I'm back. Jared Johnson with the Bryan County EMA. Since I mean, probably the last time I was here was for the city budget meetings, but I was with SCAT at the time. Just wanted to give you a quick update on kind of where we're at and some discussion that's been happening in the last few months. So I just want to make it clear to start off. Right now, there are no plans right now to go for an EMS levy this year at the county level. I have talked with the supervisors. There's still, I think there's more information that they would like to see, data gathering, and also we would have to do more education out there as well. One question that came up in the last few months was if there could be a chance where the Iowa code that right now says it would be the supervisors having to make the decision to make EMS essential, seeing if it could be added into the code to allow cities to do that for the incorporated area. And I did reach out to I sent an email to Representative Deacon and also Senator Evans to see if they would be interested in having more discussion into that. I don't think anything could happen. Something possibly could happen this session, but I honestly I'd rather probably wait till after this session's done and then get a chance to meet with them and explain to them more about what's happening, what we're seeing in each community. And it's not just here. It's all over. And if there's something that could be done, I think people are interested in hearing more. I haven't been told no. It's more of we need more information. Exactly what would the need be? What would the need be from each city that has a service, and also thinking about where are we going to be at in 5-10 years? Some of the teams right now, to be honest with you, it's kind of it's a day by day type of thing. If there's a town that all of a sudden has 5 people that want to join their team, 5 volunteers could make a huge difference where it's like, okay, we're good now for a while, but then all of a sudden when we get to another retirement, it impacts scheduling depending on what team they're on and how much call they take and stuff. The overall on the EMS side, it is, it's complex, and we've talked about it, and I know you guys know from SCAT's reports, the call volume over time has gradually gone up. There's been, discussion in regards to that, and it's been the same for other cities throughout the county. It's just kind of how do we handle more with fewer people? A lot of the communities in O'Brien County, we've had volunteers on for a long time, and when one of those volunteers leaves, it usually takes several new people to fill the same amount of time that one volunteer was helping out with. Like I mentioned in the past, if you guys do have comments in regards to like making EMS essential and you want to share those with the supervisors, please do so. Please talk with the local supervisor reps and share what you're thinking about. I know I want to hear about it too, and please also talk to SCAT as well. I know there were a few other counties around us right now that are looking at the EMS essential. I haven't heard of anyone that's going to try for anything officially this year. I heard that it sounds like Clay County was looking at, they were doing a study and trying to get insight as to what happens and what's happening in other areas of the state and also in other states. I actually had a person call me asking for some insight on calls just in O'Brien County, and it was a person who was gathering data for Clay County, and I took that opportunity to ask that person some questions on what they've seen in their studies throughout while trying to help out communities make a decision on what to do. But right now, no plans for this year. Maybe we could put something together and kind of be unified on an idea to share with the supervisors for a push potentially in 2026, but there's no guarantee. I'm still, honestly, I'm interested in seeing what happens. There's a lot of stuff happening right now at the federal level and also at the state level, and if that impacts more stuff on the local level this year, and if that changes anything either. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Taking the temperature of the supervisors now, is there a feeling in the supervisor's room when you're meeting that they know there's something needs to be done, just not sure where to go with it? Or, I mean, is it like talking to a wall? We wouldn't get anywhere anyway.
No, I think they know that the discussion needs to continue, and we've been talking about stuff for multiple years. I presented several years ago and did it the following year and the following year, and we've taken different steps at the county level for funding. We set up that EMS system development pot, which was new, kind of unique to our area, trying to help communities with either part-time staffing, full-time, helping with call pay, on-call pay, service fees. Last year was the first year I was kind of asked to lower that, and this year I proposed the same budget. I didn't show any increases on it, but there were some areas that I had to lower to create a new fund to help out Archer and Calumet with service fees if they get charged some, but primarily it's remaining the same. So there's a EMS system development pot that Sheldon Ambulance will get that they can use for what they would like to use it for, and then $5,500 that goes into an EMS equipment account that can be used for an ambulance purchase or a cot, Lucas device, defib, and then each team gets a certain amount for EMS system development and also for the EMS equipment funds.
Good.
Did that amount go, I'm sorry, man.
I'm done.
Did that amount go down or up?
It went down this year, so it's going for Sheldon. It's going from $53,000 to $51,000 for this year. Depending on how the budget looks towards the end of the, not this fiscal year, but the following fiscal year, I could look to see if there could be some reshuffling, but at this point I had to make a decision and shift some of those funds around, so each ambulance team's account was lowered.
Yeah, I think well, maybe you and I can work together with some local legislators to see if we can get enough support for a bill to allow for cities to have a levy subject to a public vote, of course.
Yep.
But this is really complicated because the way things are set up in Iowa right now is we can't go to a local bank and get a loan on an ambulance without that being subject to the same a public vote and all of that. And I don't think people, I support a public vote, but I think the public vote should be declaring ambulance as an essential service so that we can move forward with readiness and response, just like it took 4 years to do this with the fire department, but we now have a funding system set up, and it was painful, but we did it. We have a funding system set up for readiness fees and response fees, and the way we have ambulance set up, we're only being paid with response, and we know we have a demand. You could use 4 or 5 volunteers today. Is that what I remember? And we really need the help, because if we get to the budget this fall and you step up and say we need to have 3 full-time employees because we're not getting enough volunteers, then we have an issue. And the answer, quite frankly, with the way the levy consolidation has been, the answer is no. Without another funding stream. And it's okay to say this because we're going to have this on the next agenda. I won't say the name today, but we've received notice officially now of a deployment in the police department. We have one of our police officers that's going to be deployed, and so that will be a year long, and so we'll be coming to the city council asking for an overhire for the police department because we have to, and that would come from the same, that would come from the general fund and trust and agency levy as well. So yeah, it's just something that we're all going to need to band together on. But I would encourage the county supervisors to take another look at this and declare ambulance an essential service this year, and also work on legislation to allow for cities to potentially declare an essential service. But something has to change. We can't keep muscling through from one year to the next and hoping that it's going to be different when call volume continues to go up and our volunteerism continues to drop. We have a great service. We need to keep it great. And so I put out an appeal right now on behalf of the city that this is a great service. I've seen the work that you do and appreciate the work that you do. We need 5 more volunteers in the next month, and that's really important for us.
I agree. Yeah, I wish the state would have made it statewide essential, but they put it back on the locals. When I see stuff at the county level, it would be nice to do something countywide. But I think it would be good to have the discussion to see if they'd be willing to change the code and to allow cities to have that option too, if that's the route that has to go. So yeah, I'm willing to keep on discussing. I appreciate what you guys are doing as well. I know it's difficult looking through the financials. It's very complex right now. It's hard, and I've heard, I hear and see stuff in the news with other cities looking at their budgets and just trying to figure out how to keep everything going. So I appreciate it. You're doing a good job. Keep up the good work. And if you have questions for me, any other questions over? Yes,
I
Tom.
do.
Yes.
I want to expound a little bit upon the financials, specifically to many comments that have been made over the past months about how volunteerism is going down. And there's been some initial discussion about, do we need to have paid staff of some sort or another in order to maintain the level of hires that we need for the service that Sam was just mentioning. What I think the council and the city could benefit from is some kind of a analysis from your department that says this is how many people we need, and if we have to hire them, this is how much it's going to cost, and what options from a revenue point of view, whether it be fees or whatever else, other than taxation. I'd like to see what that would look like. So if right now, what is a call? What's the cost for a call? If you come pick me up, how much do I pay you? Just give me
Five
something.
something.
Give me something.
$535.
$535.
There you go.
So if you had to hire the people who are gonna come and take care of me, what's it gonna cost them?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna probably cost you $125,000 for every employee you wanna hire.
I don't know. But what I wanna know is by call, how much,
Because what did we say last month, when we were doing the budget, was $80,000 for the pavilion,
right,
full-time employee, with benefits and everything?
right?
They were estimating, so you're gonna have 125,000 an employee, would be my guess.
So what would that do for the 800 or 600 calls, spread over 600 calls by how many people you need to pay, whatever wage you have to pay them? Because if that is inevitable, that we have to go to paid staff, I would hate to think that just city finances are going to try to take care of that issue. And I would take that, I'd also use this information, take to the county as well. And, but I think we need some perspective on that.
Yeah, and that would be information that I would want to gather from each service and what they, I mean, kind of getting a report from each service too on what they would like to see their service become in the next 5-10 years. And it'd be nice, I don't want to see more services go away, because that, it creates issues where, okay, who's going to absorb that area if there's a service that goes away, and it increases the response time too to that area as well. So you know, how do we keep the services going that are going? Is there something we can do to improve it? What that improvement option is, and how much it's going to cost, and what they would like to see? Cause
So whether the city pays for it, the county pays for it, or we both pay for it, or a fee goes up, all three of them maybe.
Yeah.
Figure out how we're going to financially cover it,
Yeah.
and still get you the staffing that you're talking about.
Yeah,
So-
because I foresee a hybrid structure being a structure that provides the best outcome. I looking and doing researching statewide, you know, there's city-based systems that are struggling, there's county-based systems that are struggling, there's hospital-based systems that are struggling, there's private entities that are struggling as well. Everybody's struggling, and the person that called to gather information for Clay County, I asked him too, I was like, have you seen any models that they're working really well? And it's hard right now. If somebody finds a model that works really well, and I'm sure they're going to want to share it.
So you're saying paid staff is not showing any?
No, it's kind of a combination.
over volunteers.
Yeah, because some of the individuals just want to be volunteers. They're not interested in being full time, and that's the other question that's come up too. If we have the financials to hire people, we'll be able to find the people that will be able to fit into those roles.
Those are the answers we need.
Yeah.
Questions we need some answers to.
Because we would want to have all of our information ready to go, so that way when we start having, you know, if it was decided to go for something and we had the educational opportunities to share stuff with the public, we would have that information available, because those are questions I'm sure are going to come up too. Yeah.
I just urge you to make that sooner than later. So.
Yep.
Any other questions for Jared? Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you, guys.
Jared.
Yep. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Jared.
All right, let's move on to reports then. The city manager report, anything from you, Sam?
No, it speaks for itself.
Okay. Todd?
Two questions I've been receiving a lot, so I assume you may be getting asked the same questions. When is Western Avenue reconstruction going to start? I don't know. We have a construction meeting next Tuesday, and I hope to be able to get more information on that on track schedule. A lot lately is surveying on 18 all the time. Open from 2nd Avenue all the way through town, the east. They're also going to be replacing sidewalk from Western Avenue all the way to Mid-American Energy. And then they're also adding a turn lane furthest into the south crossroads. That's called it. What's that?
Ziegler.
Yeah, that Baumgart's adding a whole get it at right lane. And the intersections throughout the community are going to be happening summer. I sat in for that job the other day. That's a DOT project. They plan that they may work on some stand on the turn lane intersection at about the same time. So we're gonna see a fair amount of, there's all the trucks